We're on the top of page 645. To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, to the place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lechi lach. Back to the first verse. Lechi lach, to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lech lech, on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos and welcome. I know that there are a number of you here tonight who are here for the first time or for the second or maybe third time. So a special welcome to all of you for being with us tonight on this Shabbat. Gordon just sang a song called Lechi Lach or Lech Lecha, which means anyone? Go forth. So here we've had another kind of crazy week, and all we can do is go forth and be resilient, take one step in front of the other. And we are able to celebrate three things tonight on this very special Shabbat. One is just Shabbat itself. It's the end of the week. It's the Sabbath. It's a day of rest, not only of rest, but restoration. So I hope tonight and tomorrow will be a time of peace and restoration for all of you at the end of a busy week, I know for many of us. It is also Shabbat Shirah, the Sabbath of song. And Shabbat Shirah is the Sabbath that falls in the Jewish calendar when traditionally we read a Torah portion that I'll be teaching tomorrow morning for those of you who can come to Torah study. And there's a section in it called Shirat Hayam, the song of the sea. Gordon's going to be leading us in the song Micha Mocha a little bit later tonight, which is included in that song. And this is the song that Moses and his sister Miriam and all the Israelites sing out of joy when they have finally escaped the clutches of Pharaoh and bondage in Egypt. So it's very joyous. Gordon opened with a song that we don't do all the time. He's got a couple other songs we're going to do tonight. You're encouraged to shake those eggs at an opportune moment, and I'll leave that for Gordon. because I'm not sure when the opportune moment would be.
It's out of my hands.
It's out of your hands, right?
It's in your hands.
But finally, the third thing that we're celebrating on this very special Shabbat is two of our members who recently converted to Judaism, Andrew Wallach and Amy Hall, who I had the pleasure of working with for well over a year during this process, and both of them have made such great and positive impacts on our community. They're going to be talking a little bit about what that experience was like. So I'm going to call them up a little bit later and share some of my own thoughts about them a little bit later. So we're celebrating that as well. I think we've been promoting this Shabbat as New Year, New Jews. So we're celebrating a couple of the newest Jews of our community. So we're really happy that you and your family and friends are with us tonight. But we are going to start with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. So I'd like to invite up Mimi and Shani to do us that honor, and you can follow along on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you. And as Shani and Mimi are taking their seats, I'd like to invite you to turn to page 142, and we are going to continue with the singing of Shalom Aleichem, a song about peace.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzechem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
The Chatzi Kaddish is on page 144.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yalma divrach yerutei v'yamlik malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imeru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach La'olam lo me'almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithala Shemei dekudusha barichu La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Da'amiran v'alma v'imeru. Amen.
Our call to worship the Baruch Hu is on page 146. If you are able, please rise.
Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
Please remain standing and join me at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivdecha b'veitecha uv'lektecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha letotafot beinenecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Lema'an tiskaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hoteti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Page 158. So I mentioned that this is Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat in which we read and study the Song of the Sea. And this prayer that Gordon is about to lead us in, Micha Mocha, is part of that song. and it's celebratory, and it's joyful, and it's about gratitude. It comes from the book of Exodus, chapter 15, and again, we'll be studying this tomorrow morning. These are the actual words that Moses and Miriam and the Israelites sang when they were freed from bondage. Now, the melody that Gordon's going to lead us in almost certainly was not the melody they probably used thousands of years ago, but the words, according to tradition, are the same. So let's try to convey that same exuberance, that same affirmation, that same sense of gratitude that our ancestors did at this very joyful moment.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh nora tehilot osef eleh nora tehilot osef eleh malchutecha ra'u vanecha okei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam zeli anu v'amru Adonai yimlo leolam va'ed mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh nora tehilot osef eleh nora tehilot osef eleh nora tehilot osef eleh.
Please join me at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Let there be love. Oh, I'm singing the same melody as before, huh? And understanding. We'll see what we can do. Among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. This is what you call faking it, you see. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions. With good companions. With good companions. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Top of page 160. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. L'hamidenu shomreinu, l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
The Amidah is on page 164. Again, if you are able, please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei hakol, v'zocher chastei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, l'man shemo b'ahava. Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim b'chesed. Mechaye hakol b'rachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofei cholim. U'matir asurim. U'mekaye emunato. Lishenei afar. Michamocha b'gevurot, u'midom melach, melech memit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. page 646. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced the whole night long. And Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea. The wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're going to dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced the whole night long. Miriam and the women danced the whole night long.
At this point in our service, we pause to think of those in need of healing on this Shabbat, healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of heart. And we ask God to bestow the bracha, the blessing of refuah shlema, full and complete healing on the following men and women from our community or those known and loved by our congregation: Ilana Massey, Kevin Brackett, Michelle Camisia, Kirk Whitlatch, Kathy Rotto, Aaron Ledden, Rachel Sadek, Michaela Cohen, Diane Rotto Persile, Tracy Adams, Joan Wilmert, Kim Stevens, James Lynch, Don Copeland, Nancy Pollock, Pat Shapiro, Denise Robinson, Rachel Friedman, Debbie Alter Starr, Paula Schwartz-Pervel, Ann Levinson, Marty Spitz, Joyce Sheffrin, Farah Garber, Judy Feiner, Stephen Schoenfeld, Andrea De La Gana, Mark Odenweller, Angel Lozano, Wendy Cochran, and Max Petrick. And if anyone has a name they'd like to add to our list, I invite you to please share that with us. The Misha Berach is on page 511.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Should we put that one up too? Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos again. It's always so nice to see lots of people coming on a Friday night, and especially those of you who I have not met yet. So at the Oneg afterwards, we hope that you will introduce yourselves to us, and I hope our community will introduce ourselves to you. Now, I love being Jewish. Judaism is a beautiful religion. Our community has been around for a very, very long time. But I have to say, there's nothing easy about being a Jew. We struggle with God. We struggle with practice. We have to deal with anti-Semitism. We have to deal with anti-Zionism. And it's not that easy to be Jewish as a minority in this world, as a religious minority. We are not a proselytizing religion. And so when someone approaches me or another rabbi and says that they want to convert to Judaism, it's a wondrous and amazing thing. And I don't play that game of turning someone away 6 or 7 times to test their commitment. I know when someone is serious about being Jewish. And Amy and Andrew have been very serious about embracing Judaism as their religion and their community. In some religious traditions, Islam, for example, evangelical Christianity, you convert simply by making a declaration. That's all you have to do. I mean, there are things that are expected afterwards, but you make a verbal declaration and you become a Muslim, or you become an evangelical Protestant. Judaism, big surprise, it takes work. And so Andrew and Amy, both of whom have had lots of other commitments, their spouses, their full-time jobs, their activities here in the community, both of them have been very, very busy. But they made the conversion to Judaism a big priority for both of them. So we've known each other for a couple of years now, but the conversion process in earnest probably started a year and a half ago, and it involved a year of study, taking an Introduction to Judaism course. It involved meeting with me once a month to talk about whatever it was that was relevant or important or pressing to them at that time, or some guided reading as well. And then it culminated by going to the mikveh in San Francisco, where they immersed in a Jewish ritual bath. For those of you who don't know what a mikveh is, we met here first, where they met with a Beit Din, a tribunal of 3 of us, to ask them questions about this journey. But then afterwards, we all drove down to San Francisco, went into the mikveh, said the appropriate prayers, and then they became Jews. But after a year of very serious and not so easy work. So I want to say a few personal words to both of you a little bit later, but right now I invited both Andrew and Amy to talk about what this experience was like for our community as the two newest members of the tribe here at CBS. So I don't think in our exchanges we talked about who was going to go first. So if you don't have a preference, I think I'm going to have Andrew. Andrew, you go first. You can go first, and then Amy, you'll go next.
Thank you. I was going to start by talking through kind of the mechanics, which you already covered, of the conversion process. And yes, there's about a year of study, sitting down with the rabbi and sort of talking at great length about different ideas, Jewish history, sort of how things became the way they are. There's the Beit Din, sort of a group of 3, Jewish leaders, ask questions, sort of like Jewish quiz show, but like a little more serious. Then there's a second part just for men, which I will not talk about. Then, last but not least, there is the incredible experience of the sort of, depending on how you read it, sort of the second birth, which is really kind of cool in the mikvah. But I wanted to say sort of a couple of things that I thought were really were sort of just personal observations about the process and some thoughts as well. But first, I wanted to say a huge thank you to the community here has been extraordinarily welcoming. Rabbi Goldstein in particular has been an exceptional resource and has been incredibly kind throughout this process. So my conversion process actually began during the pandemic. So I had been thinking for years and years and been attracted to the practice and the faith of Judaism. And a close friend of mine had a sister-in-law, I believe, who was a practicing rabbi in Arizona. So we scheduled a Zoom meeting, she doesn't show up. Schedule another Zoom meeting, she doesn't show up. Finally, I'm like, gosh, maybe this just isn't the right person for me. I didn't know about the supposed to turn people away thing at that point. So I'm like, oh gosh, Rabbi, I'm so sorry. I just don't think this is a good fit. Then I found another person, a guy in Montana, really nice guy. We have a great conversation, over email. Show up for the Zoom meeting, no luck. Show up for the second Zoom meeting, no luck. And I was like, oh man, so again, not knowing this whole sort of thing about the multiple sort of declines, I was like, gosh, Rabbi, I'm so sorry. I guess our schedules just aren't working. So sorry. Then finally, I met Rabbi Goldstein, and I'm very grateful. He does not take that attitude. But also, I was right here, so it was really hard. Once the pandemic was over and I sort of started this effort again, a lot harder, when you're physically in front of someone to say, go away. But one or two things I wanted to share that I thought sort of really both kept me going through this process and attracted me throughout the whole thing, but also kind of really kept me excited about becoming Jewish. All of these things, I'm sure, are things you guys already know, but as an outsider coming in, I thought it's worthy to sort of reshare them. One of which is in reading through, page after page of the mitzvot and reading through rabbinical commentary talking about the faith of Judaism, the theme that emerges, at least to me, is use your common sense. And it's such a beautifully simple thought about how we should actually go through life, so practical, so clear, and also just so much closer to sort of how I actually like to tackle problems myself, that it felt like such a natural sort of combination of my own desires, but with what just sort of makes sense in general. Second, there's this incredible focus on sort of history and culture. When at the holidays, when we gather, when we talk about sort of history, why do we eat this particular food on this particular day? There's a story, right? There's sort of this constant effort to kind of tie this sort of thematic thread together in a way that I found really moving and really cool. And last but not least, my wife, Rachel, comes from this incredibly tight-knit unit. She's an only child. She's the children of only children. And there's this exceptional tight-knittedness to them that I always associated with just them, the Stern family just are kind of that way. But there's this really lovely sort of common thread going through there about, I think that part of it is the sort of the Jewish tradition where people look out for each other. There's a huge amount of support. There's a huge amount of care for people, in this this exceptionally interesting group. So I'm so honored to be part of it. I'm so grateful for the time spent. I'm so grateful that, even though it took, a handful more meetings than becoming Muslim, it was a worthwhile, enriching, and deeply, I hope it goes without saying, spiritual experience. So thank you again to everyone here, and thank you again to Rabbi Goldstein.
Wow. I kind of hardly believe I get to stand where I am right now at the Bima, sharing about my journey to becoming a Jew. So I figured I would start by answering a question that might be on your mind. Why did I want to live as a Jew? Why did I want to commit myself to joining the Jewish destiny? When I try to answer these questions, a word in Hebrew comes immediately to my mind. Ahava. Ahava means love. I have felt a deep affinity and love for Judaism for most of my life. Some of you know details of my winding journey to where I stand today, but if you don't, I am happy to share it with you. Just ask. What exactly do I love about Judaism? Is it the ethics and the values? Is it the people? The food and the wine? The traditions? Is it the Torah? The answer is yes. All of the above and more. For some mysterious reason, Judaism has always felt like home to me. Comfortable, familiar, natural, like home. My Jewish superpower is study. So I have a hearty appetite for researching and discussing Jewish concepts and issues. Seeking knowledge, questioning assumptions, and engaging in critical thinking, all in hopes of drawing closer to truth, are central to Jewish culture, and they fit me like a glove. Study is my love language, and there is a lot to learn. These days, topics of particular interest to me include Neo-Hasidism and Jewish non-duality in general, modern Hebrew, Shabbat, and contemporary issues concerning the diaspora. So if you share these interests, I hope that we can study and exchange ideas together. And I love Torah study. It's the world's oldest book club. That's pretty awesome. There is never a dull moment. And I hope to see you at Torah study with Rabbi Niles on select Saturday mornings, including tomorrow morning right here at 10:30. I'll be here. In addition to ahava, love, there is another Hebrew word that has come to the forefront to me, shalom. Most people know shalom as the customary Hebrew greeting and that it means peace. In Hebrew, peace means far more than the absence of conflict. The root letters of shalom, shin, lamed, and mem for Hebrew enthusiasts, are the wellspring to many words in Hebrew that express ideas of peace, but also of completeness, wholeness, and well-being. I felt completeness and wholeness the day I returned home from the San Francisco mikveh on the day of my conversion, the day my conversion was complete. That day, I was able to say for the first time, I am a Jew. I get to say that. It's a big responsibility, and I know it's not always easy, but it's important, and it's exciting. A note about the expression often used to describe converts, namely Jew by choice. This phrase comes from a place of respect and love, and I'm definitely okay with it, but I do have a couple of issues with it. Describing converts as Jews by choice seems to brush past the power and agency of those born Jewish to choose to live vibrant, engaged Jewish lives. Being born Jewish isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning. And it is a choice when you proudly and affirmatively align yourself with Jewish life and community. It's a choice you make, we make every day. In any event, for me, becoming a Jew didn't feel like a choice. It felt inevitable. I guess I prefer the term naturalized Jew, but that doesn't really do it for me either. And maybe there's no perfect terminology, and that's okay too. For now, I'm calling myself a Jew, plain and simple. I get to do that now. I do know that according to Jewish tradition, all Jews, past, present, and future, including converts, were present at the foot of Mount Sinai when the Torah was given. If that's true, then it's been a while since we've all been together, but I'm back. And it feels really good to be home. I want to say thank you to the CBS community, to Rabbi Niles, for your warmth, your support, your genuine friendship. This community is so genuinely welcoming and supportive to all. I'm grateful to be part of such an awesome Jewish community. Toda Rabbah.
Actually, Amy, would you stay up here for a second? And Andrew, would you come back? Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. I am so excited and happy that I was the rabbi who got to serve as sort of the conduit to Judaism during this process. But as you both articulated so well, this is a journey that both of you have been on for a very long time. And even though both of you are very different and have had different journeys, you share certain things. You're both really, really smart. You're both, in my estimation, very analytical and strategic. You're both very well organized. And you're both creative in your own ways. So to work with you for a year each on this process taught me maybe even as much as I was able to teach you during this time. And you have already had, as I said earlier, great impact in this community. Andrew, I remember a few months ago, we're always hurting for wine here because we like to drink wine at our own eggs and people contribute in different ways. You came one day with like a couple of cases, I think, to help sustain us at our own eggs. And Amy, you and I have already been working on different committees and different initiatives here at CBS to make this community even better, even stronger. And with both of you, I really look forward to the months and years ahead of your involvement in whatever way feels right to you with this community. It is a pretty incredible community. There are many people here, including those in leadership positions, who have embraced Judaism just like you did. And I think, they, along with you, have set a very high bar. We may not be a proselytizing religion, but those who do choose to become Jewish, I think, are almost always exceptional. And you are certainly in that category. So on behalf of the congregation, I want to give each of you a Kiddush cup so that on Shabbat or during festivals or on other special occasions, when you drink wine, and I know both of you are wine drinkers, you're in the industry too, but you're both wine drinkers, you will use this cup to drink from. And when you use this cup, hopefully you will think of this community and the relationship you have with us and the relationship we have with you. And I hope you'll use it on very celebratory occasions for a long time to come. So Andrew, this one is for you. Amy, this one is for you. And I would just like to offer the priestly benediction for both of you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence be with you and grant you peace. And let us all say, Amen.
Thank you.
Yes. Mazel tov. Mazel tov to you and mazel tov to us. Simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov.
See if I can find his key. Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, ulecho Ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Sivin Tov, Tavel Tov, and Mazel Tov, and Simon Tov, Simon Tov, and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simon Tov, Simon Tov, and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simon Tov, Yehelanu.
You came in at right the exact time.
Just like we
Because
rehearsed.
I was starting to flounder a little bit here. So I'm glad you are the music director, right?
I'm a professional.
You're a professional. Okay, Charles, would you like to open the Ark? We're going to turn to page 586 and continue with Yalenu. Please rise. And you can do it faster.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gohora aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Me'emar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol ha'aretz. Bayom ha'hu, Bayom ha'hu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
Please be seated. It is my privilege now to invite up to the Bema Roberta Solomon, board member, past president, and also, if you don't mind sharing, someone who came to Judaism later in her life as well. So come on up.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. First of all, Mazal Tov to both of you. Shana Chadash, Chadasha, Yehudim, Chadashim. For those who don't know Hebrew, that just means this is what we basically were calling this before, which is New Year and New Jews. So there you go. Anyway, all right, Torah study with Rabbi Niles will be held tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. On February 9th, the religious school will be participating in a Super Bowl, or I want to say Super Bowl, but I know it's not really that. Super Bowl before the actual game. Please help make this event a success by donating the items on the flyer. Attention, all moviegoers. On Wednesday, February 12th, we'll be showing Dr. Seuss's The Lorax in honor of Tu B'Shvat. All are welcome. Please register so we can plan appropriately. Your Right to Resilience will meet on Thursday, February 13th at the home of Catherine Goldman. Join us February 14th and 15th as we share in the simcha of the bat mitzvah of Hazel Weiss. On Tuesday, February 18th, there will be a meeting of the Soul Sisters Book Club where they will be discussing the book, My Wild Garden, Notes from a Writer's Eden by Meir Shalev. And then on February 21st and 22nd, please join us as we share in the simcha of the bar mitzvah of Griffin Riendo. Shoreshim will meet on 9:45 on Sunday, February 23rd. And then, have you any questions about Judaism that you've always wondered about but didn't know who to ask? Or maybe you just want to learn more. Ask the Rabbi will be taking place on Tuesday, February 25th at 6 p.m. Please register online. Save the date. Saturday night, March 15th, CBS will be hosting our gala fundraiser, an adults-only Purim masquerade bar. There will be a bar, but it's also a ball. So there you go. All right, so donate a car, boat, motorcycle, any vehicle, really, and CBS will receive 80% of the sale price. Please see Effie Lubliner with any questions that you have. You don't need to live in Napa to participate, so tell your family and friends. Lastly, in case you haven't been taking notes, the most recent newsletter with information on all temple events is available by clicking the link on the CBS homepage, and a flyer for the upcoming events can also be found in the lobby. We'd like to give warm wishes to this week's birthdays and anniversaries. Happy birthday to Aidan Shellen, Hal Milton, Benjamin Wolstein, Richard Pascan, Connor Massey, Leslie Medine, Beverly Carfiol, Niles Goldstein, Rachel Paley, and Tammy Holtzman. And then we have one anniversary to celebrate this week, and that would be Donald and Susie Krieger, 48 years. That's it for this evening. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Before we turn to the mourner's Kaddish and then the conclusion of our service, I'd like us to turn to page 552 for a prayer for the people in the state of Israel. Avinu Shebashamayim, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. And now, as we near the end of our service, we think of those who are no longer with us, those who have died both recently and in seasons past. We remember those who have died during the past 12 months. Jerry Mountner, Lauren Bisberg, Terry Swartz, Chava Pearl Bat Herschel Veroz Gittel, Victor Lynn, Rosella Bernstein, Morris Feynman, Frank Glickman, Dee Copeland, Dr. Rodney Block, Eileen Gotkin, Eugene DePasqua, Barbara Balick, Debbie Mendelson, Peter LeBand, Michael Blend, Renee Marer, William Powell Hudson, David Folkman, David Ash, and Diane Gallagher. We also remember and honor the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Rivka Leach, Bernard Ross, Dorothy Mosen, Jack Gordon Cohen, Jean S. Tapper, Edith Friedman, Marshall Levin, Michael Duff Fisher, Ellis George Goodwin, Ella Koretsky, David Kaplan, Helen Ruth DeBrode, Benjamin Lubliner, Felicia Kuvint-Mikulski, Harry Silverstein, Sharon Fagenson Scott, Joseph Amar, and Lois Lasky. And if anyone has a name they'd like to share, I invite you to please do so. The mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agalah v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lalmei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitalar v'yitalel v'yitalal shmei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all those in mourning and comfort to all those who are bereaved. And let us all say, amen. Please be seated. So I mentioned this is a Shabbat, a new year, new Jews. It's also Shabbat Shirah, the Sabbath in which we read the Song of the Sea. And Gordon has been doing some special songs tonight related to those themes. Going on a journey, Moses and Miriam, celebration and gratitude. So we're going to conclude with a song that I'm guessing is going to somehow be related to one of those themes.
Yes, a journey.
A journey, okay.
Totally. Okay.
Is there a page
number? No page number.
Okay.
Okay. He was born in. Okay, I'm going to make a request for no shakers today. Oh, the percussionist, you can do it. The percussionist only, but otherwise we're good. Okay, because I want you to hear the lyrics. I don't want you to be working on your rhythm. Here we go. He was born in a Chicago hospital room because he wanted to be near his mother. He was quiet and mild for a middle child, with an older sis and younger brother. In grade school he thrived, and when high school arrived, Niles aced all the work he'd been given. But 10 books to his name wouldn't bring him the fame of John Cusack and Jeremy Piven. With high school behind him and confidence high, Niles' studies went into full throttle. Throwing caution to the wind, he immersed himself in Socrates, Kant, and Aristotle. Son, you will make a fine doctor one day, said his parents, Lois and Mel. Niles told them he'd be paid as a medical aide in a kibbutz in Israel. But Niles was as honest as Abraham from the moment his mother conceived him. His whole face was his tell, he just couldn't lie well, so they never for a moment believed him. He told his mom and dad rabbinic plans that he had, but when they told his grandma in Yonkers, she laughed and she screamed, "Rabbi Shmabbai." It seemed his own grandma had thought he'd gone bonkers. From an Ivy League school to a New York City shul took many more years of study. The adventures he took were not just in a book. Life got cold, life got wet, life got muddy. He searched high and low in the sky and in the snow as he went on his spiritual journey. And from out of nowhere came face to face with a bear that spared him a life on a gurney. He served congregations all across this great nation, from downstate New York to Montana. He seeks to inspire, not pour gas on a fire, though he's certainly no Pollyanna. His insightful views on engaging young Jews left the leaders in Greenwich astounded. So with Niles at hand, the new shul began that he with Holly and Ellen co-founded. To look at his punim, one wouldn't assume him to be the slightest bit gonzo. But back to that bear, it was probably aware of his black belts in karate and taekwondo. He spars at the gym with guys younger than him. We just don't see the bumps and the bruises. But it's no surprise he grew up with tough guys. His role models are the Three Stooges. We thank our Jewish star for how lucky we are to have Rabbi Niles Goldstein to teach us. It wouldn't be true if it weren't for the woo of a priest from the Church of Jesus. And I'd be remiss if I didn't list the love of his life in this number. There by his side, right along with his bride, was Jake, who he lost one October. He was born in a Chicago hospital room 'cause he wanted to be near his mother. We celebrate en masse and we all raise a glass to our rabbi, our friend, and our brother. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I have to say, only Gordon has the kind of talent and creativity and warmth to write a song that is based on Gordon Lightfoot's The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. But it fit perfectly, and you know I like that song.
Yep.
Thank you, Gordon.
Before many service, he'll say, so you have what opening song are you going to do? The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
It's an inside joke.
Well, a lot of this stuff was inside jokes, and if you talk to him, maybe he'll fill you in on all the little inside stuff. Or Carolyn. I want to thank Carolyn for providing me with many of the information that I...
Well, thank you for the birthday song. And as you said, let's rise a glass, not just to my birthday, but to this whole community.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen.
L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.